Hi, it's Suze, and today's word of intention is assertive. Now, what do you think of when you first hear that? Is that a backing up, ooh, they're being very assertive? Or is it more true to the meaning of the word, which means to speak what's true for you, truth for you? Learning to be assertive from a place of heart, that's a bit of a journey for most of us. We know how to be assertive when we're on this side of the line and to make our needs known and to ask for what we need. But being assertive truly is learning to do it from this side of the line, asking for what you need from a place of heart in a clean and clear way. No victimization there. No poor me. No, I really need that. No. Being assertive means stating your values, stating your truth in a way that lifts you up and maybe provides a model for others, but that's not the intention of it. The intention of it is for you to speak from your heart, from what's true for you. Can you give yourself permission to be assertive today on something that's maybe easy for you? Assert is to just place what you are thinking out in the open rather than holding it inside. Assertive is asking cleanly and clearly. And so if something is upsetting you, something is bothering you, that's the time to be assertive here because it will dissipate that other stuff. I remember another time when the whole world kind of came together, not in the same way that we are this time, but the whole world came together, and it was during 9/11. And I remember being at my parents' place, and they were, like most people, being very defensive and upset and angry about what happened. And I'm not saying there wasn't anything to be upset and angry about, there absolutely was. But I let them speak for a while, and they were talking about those people, they. And I let them speak for a while because it is their truth. And then I said to them, our next door neighbors were from there, and they were always really kind to us. And they kind of stopped and looked at me, and I said, I think that maybe we have some issue with a faction of people, but it has nothing to do with their race or their nationality. And I said, it upsets me to hear you speak about people generalized like that rather than the specifics. Now, I asserted myself and just said what was on my mind in a kind and caring way, not putting them down, but owning what it was true for me. I said it was upsetting for me. What was really interesting was a couple of days later, I was back over at my parents' place, and my father and I were sitting in the living room, and Mom was on the phone. He just said, your mother's speaking to, was one of the neighbors. And I overheard her say, I understand that there's lots to be upset about, but it's not all of the people. It's just a group of people. And so maybe we can be upset about what they've done, but not the entire country. Yeah, that's how wars get started, is when we get upset at entire countries rather than state and assert what we believe in a kind and caring way. So where will you give yourself permission to assert yourself? And it doesn't have to be when there's disagreement. You can assert yourself when there's agreement, and that's an easy place to practice it. So whether when someone says I love you and you say I love you too, that's not asserting yourself. Asserting yourself would be something like, if they say I love you, would be something like, yesterday when you brought me that cup of tea, I really loved you too. Speaking your truth from your heart. Practice it on the upside. Where can you choose to speak what's true for you in a loving and caring way? Because the more you practice it there, the easier it becomes when your buttons are pushed. You'll be able to come out with what works for you. My colleague at Hay House, the now passed away Wayne Dyer. I love to tell this story because it was such an interesting moment. He so clearly illustrated this point. He came out on stage and he had an apple in one hand and an orange in the other hand, and he was just walking around with his apple and orange, giving his talk. And the other authors were sitting at a side stage going, what is he doing? Like, what's with the apple and the orange? And we knew that Wayne was always very deliberate and always very intentional. So we knew there was a reason for it. And he had us captivated watching him with this orange and this apple for like 15, 20 minutes. And then he said, when you get squeezed, what comes out of you is your true essence. And so if I squeeze this apple, I'll get apple juice. And if I squeeze this orange, I'll get orange juice. I'm not going to get apple juice from the orange. And if the orange has gone bad, or the apple has gone rotten, that's what juice is going to come out. Make sure that you stay sweet and ripe in your own heart. And then when you get squeezed, only the goodness will come out. Because we're all getting squeezed a bit right now. If you'd like to learn more about how you can stay in your heart space, even when goofy stuff is going around, join us. Join me daily here for the intention setting. Consider joining us for Flip Your Switch online. You can find it at flipyourswitch.learnit-liveit.com. Take a look at some of the podcasts I've done over the years. There's a lot. It's all available for you, and you're the one that needs to make the choice. So assert yourself and make a choice to be the best you possibly can. Then when you look back on this COVID time, you'll feel really good about yourself. Take care, set your intention, and we'll see you tomorrow for another daily intention.